If there are any doubts about the rot in our country, all we have to do is to look at the reactions before and after the Salman Khan verdict. There has to be something rotten, something sick that says the fault was not Salman Khan's. It was of those who were sleeping on the pavement that night. They chose to come in the way of Khan's vehicle. There is something nauseating about the fact that on the day a court was to decide on the guilt of a drunk man driving his car and killing a person on the pavement, there were praises sung about Salman Khan's act of charity and generosity. There is something sick when people who get the love of millions say that irrespective of the facts of the case, Salman Khan deserves to be let off. Such crude responses are but symptoms of the malaise that afflicts the rich and the powerful in this country. The disease that leads those affected by it to believe to their very marrows that the laws of the land only apply to those on the other side of the tracks, the poor and the helpless. And a related symptom of this disease is also almost a pathological lack of empathy. What else but a pathological condition can explain a comment that if you sleep on the pavement, you should be ready to be run over? In this country, and especially in Mumbai, where over 60% of the people live in slums or in unorganized dwellings, does anyone sleep on the pavement out of choice? Imagine the tint on the windows of such celebrities that stops them from seeing the sordid lives of the vast majority of the people living in the city. Imagine the thickness of their hide that a thought cannot be spared for a man who was killed by a drunk Salman Khan. But Salman Khan is a good man. People shouldn't be sleeping on the pavement. And if they make the mistake as those five did on a sultry September night in 2002, then what if one lost his life and the others were injured? Just desserts. And if these are thoughts from the Bollywood fringes, what to make of those who wrote in support and even hoped and asked for a lenient sentence? Look at the circumstantial evidence, just one part of it. The defense trots out Salman Khan's driver at the very end of the hearings, and he confesses to being at the wheel when the car ran over the sleeping people. For 12 years, his employer has been warding off the sword of justice. Suddenly, a dozen years later, struck by a strange flash of guilt, the devoted driver steps forward and says, "I was driving that night. Exonerate Salman Khan." What about a thought for a man called Ravindra Patil, tasked with guarding Salman Khan, who was hounded from his job and hounded out of this world? Apparently, the poor policeman's sin was that he filed the first reports and said that a drunk Salman Khan was at the wheel. No one denies the personal qualities that Salman Khan may possess. Those who know him may vouch for that. No one grudges sympathy for a friend or colleague. But the Sessions Court was not being asked to issue a character certificate. It was asked to conclude whether the evidence before it was enough to judge the man guilty of drunken driving and of killing one and injuring four others who were sleeping on a pavement. The court pronounced him guilty. The law of the land says a crime has to be paid for by undergoing the sentence that the court awards. Good deeds and good behavior after a crime do not mitigate the enormity of the incident and cannot come in the way of ensuring punishment for a convicted criminal. Some basic lessons in law and ethics may not be such a bad idea for these Mumbai film industry worthies. But Salman Khan is a good man, a generous man with a heart of gold. And behold his charity, lots of money given away. Really? Is that the reason why the laws of the land should favor the rich, for they can donate in a way that the poor cannot? Is it not enough that the rich, with access to the highest priced councils in the land, can work the justice system in a way that the poor cannot even begin to imagine? Working the system means that equality before law is merely the 14th article in our constitution, nothing more. Justice and truth be damned. What the reactions from his friends and minions in the film industry betray are but the pangs of plutocrats who run amok all across our fair land.